We live surrounded by layers of high-level engineering, from the temperature-controlled air in our homes to the artificial light on our screens. We exist in an environment designed to keep the outside world at a distance. 4 billion years ago, there were no such buffers. The Earth was a landscape of tectonic upheaval and atmospheric storms. Life began here as a microscopic, single-celled struggle inside a boiling chemical soup. In a universe governed by entropy, where energy dissipates and complex systems naturally break down, the survival of these first cells is a statistical anomaly. Every hour they remained intact was a victory against a planet trying to dissolve them. Our modern tools serve the same defensive function as the membranes of those first cells. Whether it's a silicon chip or a concrete wall, human technology acts as a specialized shield, continuing a 4 billion-year struggle to maintain order against a hostile environment. To understand how we arrived at this level of control, we have to look at the moments when life was pushed to its absolute limit and forced to adapt or disappear. For the first few billion years, the pace of change was nearly imperceptible. Single-celled organisms drifted in the oceans, slowly mutating, but their basic structures remained static for eons. This graph tracks species on Earth. For eons, it's a flat baseline. Then, 540 million years ago, it takes a sharp vertical turn. This sudden splintering was driven by light-sensitive eyes and active predators. Suddenly, being slow meant death. Prey species responded by pulling minerals from the water to build the first physical defenses. They grew heavy calcium shells and jagged exterior plates, turning their own bodies into fortresses. Predators evolved tools to bypass protection, heavy bone-crushing claws and forward-facing eyes to track targets with precision. This cycle created a feedback loop of rapid biological innovation. Every new defensive layer was eventually met by a more sophisticated offensive tool. This period shows lethal competition provided the pressure required to move life beyond the single cell. The first complex anatomical structures were forged in this high-stakes race for survival. But steady progress is often abruptly halted. On 5 occasions, the majority of life was wiped out in a geological blink of an eye. Massive volcanic eruptions and asteroid impacts triggered volcanic winters, blocking the sun and collapsing the food chains dominant species relied on. These events trigger niche clearing. When apex species die out, they leave massive environmental openings. For example, when dinosaurs were removed, surviving burrowing mammals expanded into those empty roles, forming an entirely different ecological structure. Mass death acts as a filter for the planet. By removing the established giants, these catastrophes provide the space for rare, versatile survivors to build the next level of biological complexity. Our own ancestors were defined by these survival filters. Early hominins survived a series of intense climate shifts and bottlenecks, events that reduced the human population to a few thousand individuals. Navigating these crises required more than just physical strength. It favored the development of a brain capable of foresight, social coordination, and toolmaking, a way to solve environmental problems without waiting for a genetic mutation. This connection becomes clear when you look at a Cambrian trilobite next to a modern spacesuit. Both use segmented, high-strength materials to maintain a safe internal environment against a lethal external one. The difference is the method of delivery. While the trilobite spent millions of years slowly growing its armor into its own skin, humans use their cognitive capacity to build external defenses. We have moved the process of adaptation from our DNA to our industries, allowing us to iterate in decades rather than millennia. We are the current result of an unbroken 4 billion-year chain of survivors. Our technology is the most recent tool in that lineage, providing the means for life to withstand the next great planetary shift.